the community, and the women said, okay, if they still accepted the arranged marriage, but no kind of intercourse until maybe the girl was, I don't know, 16, 15, 16. Is that something
physically, psychologically
that you would
mature.
kind of talk about and kind of take into your belief system then? If the women were saying, okay, we don't feel ready until kind of 16.
So there is, in Islam, you cannot force a woman to get married. Are you aware of that? So
can I say as well, right? And it's not just about Muslims or Christians, it's just about men sometimes as well. You know, it's not kind of a big thing.
It is not about force, and certainly not at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9,
Males are so dominant in the world, you know, it's kind of still, there's not that equality for women. So if women, if like you as a young man, if all kind of the Muslim females grew up and said, okay, we would like it to kind of be about 16, not following British, just that it feels right that it was 16, is that something that maybe Muslim men would take on board and accept?
So in most Muslim countries, I lived in different Muslim countries. In most Muslim countries, it's already this age. It's already 16, 17, 18. Why? Because we apply the societal law. We see how when the women is in our society are physically, psychologically, everything mature, that we're ready to get married. Number one. Number two, we cannot force a woman to get married in Islam. The Prophet prohibited the father to force his daughter. There has to be consent. There is no...
Is there any coercion by the father?
Right? The father can refuse the one who's coming, but he cannot force the girl to get married. It's impossible. He cannot do that. In Islam, now we're talking about Islam. He cannot force his daughter to get married to someone she doesn't want him to marry.
So say kind of anyone under the 16 probably intelligently at that age wouldn't be able to kind of make a safe decision about a male.
That's why you have the father refusing certain men and accepting certain men, because he's making the mature decision, choosing whether this man is capable to handle it,
they have to have
take care of his daughter.
Trust in the father, because sometimes that doesn't always work, does it? You know, trusting parents doesn't always work.
Are you a mother?
No, I haven't been blessed.
But you have a mother and a father, right? Will they want anything bad for you?
Oh no. Absolutely. Well, not bad for me, but some of their judgments I don't agree with in other life choices and things like that. So I guess it's that.
So do you know how you get the answer? You get the answer by basically the father choosing this man X, number X, or whatever it is, this fictional person. He chooses him to be your husband. Then you say, no, I don't like it. Then he has to look for someone else. So you have to consent as well. You have to agree as well with the choice that he makes. You get the point that I'm making. But he has the right to refuse because he is more mature. He has more life experience. He knows that you might want to marry this person, but he's not good for you. And he wants the good for you.
Do you think, because my understanding is like in the arranged marriage, it's expected that love and companionship will grow over time. Love and companionship will grow over time. No, because the girl is like not be sure.
No. It doesn't. Sorry, brother. Can I explain, brother? So
in America they get married at 12 years old.
Let me answer. We're going everywhere, like this and everywhere, you know. So, an answer to your question, basically, Islam has a system, right? One of this system, before you get married, there's a period that we call khitbah. This period is that when you meet the woman, you go to her family house, you go to a public place. When there is someone, it's not the I don't use this word because it's a Western word. Yeah, there's a completely different understanding of this word. So that's why I use this Arabic word, this Arabic specific word. So basically, this khitbah that we have is that you meet the woman. There has to be a mihram, someone who is basically closely related to her, her father, there, so nothing happens. Basically, they're not alone. And they can be separately talking to each other. So you can take this period, can take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 100 years, until you actually feel you're comfortable with that person. This person, you want to get married to him, you feel a connection with him, you feel a compatibility, chemistry, whatever the word that you want to use, then you get to marry to this person. So this is, Islam is a system. You do not say arranged marriage today he chose this man and tomorrow she's going to marry him. No, there has to be a period of you discussing, talking with her. This is how Islam works.
Okay, and that would be acceptable.
Okay.
Is there any, if there was a young girl and he was a very old man?
I see in this society more that what you're talking about more than in other societies.
Right, okay, but that can happen, but not so much in
let's focus the conversation on here. It's alright. Lauren, who's your question? An old man and a young...
Yeah. That's kind of, to me, not just, I know what goes on in the societies, I know it happens, but to me that feels unacceptable. How do you
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If that young girl or that old man, they're both consenting, happy, do you have any obligation on them to tell them no or yes? If they're both happy, consenting?
Absolutely.
So I have the answer to your question.
Right.
So the girl has to be consenting, acceptable. The man as well. So if she is not comfortable with the person who's old, etc., things like that, she will not accept. But let me give you something. Let me give you a bit of piece of information that is not shared widely about Prophet Muhammad himself. Prophet Muhammad was 25 years old. Do you know the age of his wife? The first wife.
Oh, the first wife.
First wife.
No.
This is the problem. No one knows.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks about other wives.
Yeah.
Specifically Aisha maybe, and maybe other wives like Safiya, but they don't speak about the first wife. The first wife that he married was Khadija. He was 25 years old. Do you know how old she was? She was 40 years old. 15 years older than him. If he wants to pick young girls, you know how many wives he married? Only one of them was young and virgin. One of them was virgin.
And I hear that
Are you aware of that?
he was, the other wives that he had was to kind of take them in because of their circumstances.
Widows,
So it wasn't-
their husband died in
Yes,
war,
yes.
they were slaves and he freed them.
Thing,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
they were
Rather than
100%.
kind of, I want lots of
But not
wives
only
to
that,
protect
not only
him.
that, also social and political gathering between the Muslims and other tribes. So if she was a daughter of a good lineage tribe, which was well known, a people that he wants to bring closer to Islam, so he marries the daughter. So there was different reasons.
absolutely.
Different reasons.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something that this is something that should be mentioned as well a lot. That the Quran does something very, very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses Prophet Muhammad and he tells them, tell your wives, if you want this life, i.e. if you want to get divorced, you're free. You have the freedom and the choice to get divorced whenever you want. Allah gave them the choice, not Prophet Muhammad. So if these women were not happy, the second day they will leave Prophet Muhammad. But the fact that Prophet Muhammad married when he was 25 years old to a 40 years old woman, he stayed with her until she died. He never married any other wife until she died. He was 53, then he married another widow who was older, who was old. So Prophet Muhammad was not picking the young girls for himself, which is the propagated media image that they wanted to do. Let me use a word which is very new, which is pedophile. This word is very new. If you research the origin of this word, it didn't exist before. Because in this country in the 1880s, as I mentioned, it was 7 years old. It was the norm. The life expectancy was low. The women used to get mature early. They did not have all of these toys and these kind of things. Yeah, the next step for them is to get married straight away. So this word pedophilia.
That's the way you grew up thinking and acting into it. Yeah.
So people who study psychology, they tell you there are two types of pedophiles. There are two types of pedophiles. People who pick on young girls because they're weak, because they can pick on them. They're weak basically. They cannot defend themselves basically. And another type who only desires young girls. So if we have these two type of categories, we can never, according to the Western understanding of pedophilia, we can never fit Prophet Muhammad to that. Because Prophet Muhammad desired women who were older than him. He had women who were their age, who was his age as well. So he doesn't only desire young girls, and it was not because of they're weak, they're young, etc. So we cannot put this kind of definition of pedophilia.
Different worlds and a different
world, different
understanding
100%.
and different values and as you
100%.
said, different life expectancies.
So I'll give you another example. So Safiya, which is one of the wives of Prophet Muhammad, which was from a Jewish tribe, right? Prior to marrying Prophet Muhammad when she was 12, she was 10 years old and her father married her to someone else. So it was the norm of the society at that time to marry girls at that young age. That's why you haven't seen anyone mentioning to Prophet Muhammad. They called him crazy, they called him a magician, they called him all the different things that you can imagine. They never called him, why you marrying a young girl? Because it was the norm of the society. People at that time and day and age used to do that. It was their norm. So if we say pedophilia is someone who marries a girl under 16, 17 years old, then the Brazilians are pedophiles, or the ancestors of all the European, all the ancestors, not only the king, all the ancestors, yes, all the ancestors,
and what we said earlier on, which is good because girls know more, they're more educated, there's a different world, so for them to turn around and say I'm not ready, and for a father or potential husband to kind of say okay.
So what do you think so far of this social system that I give you? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I ask you a question now?
Yeah.
Is it right? Do you believe in a higher being? Do you believe in God?
I believe in a spiritual being, yeah.
You believe you follow-
I believe in an afterlife, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's a very good starting point. Do you believe in any religion? Do you follow any specific religion?
I am still, no, I don't follow any particular religion, and I'm kind of open to not. I think there's a lot of good things in all religions, and of course we've got bad as well.
We agree with that.
And I think whatever God is up there, on the other side, I think he would be accepting of people's confusion, especially in this day and age, the world that we've created. And I think just by being, believing that there's an afterlife and there's a spiritual world and there is a higher intelligence than us, I think it's enough for a God, whatever God, to say, okay, that's fine, that's an excellent starting point. And if I can live as a good
As I told you,
person,
it's an excellent starting point.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay,
I think that's right. And I wish, like, whether Christian, Jewish, Muslim, those are the top three that always come to mind. There's loads of other
Because they're
religions.
major.
Those are the ones we
Yes.
all say is
Because
there.
they're major religions.
Yeah, this is it.
So
This is it. If we all live together and accept our differences,
Yes.
that's good.
So we believe in that. We believe
in
in a concept of called ta'ayush. We believe in harmoniously living with other people. But we would say a bit of a different thing. So what would we say as Muslims is that this person, God will excuse him 100% until a certain point. This certain point when you demonstrate to him the truth, but he still reject the truth just out of arrogance. So a person knows that this makes sense, this is the truth, this has to be from a higher being, this has to be from God, this has to be the right explanation, it cannot make sense otherwise. And then he chooses knowingly that no, I'm not going to follow. Why? Because there are multiple reasons. It could be desires, could be society, could be extra. This is the only way that actually we believe in Islam, that you will be held accountable for what you do. When the message is presented to you, right, the evidence is presented, not just the message, there has to be evidence. It has to be done eloquently. If the message is presented to you, you know it makes sense. You know it's impossible that someone would know that it has to be from God, but then you say no, I'm not going for it. Why? Because I wanna do this, or I wanna do that, or does it make sense? Yes. So when you mention, for example, that different religions have truth in them, we completely agree on that. So we agree that, I'll give you an example. The Quran says we have sent to every nation a messenger. Okay, so every nation in this world has a messenger. There was a lot of previous nations before us, right? So there was a lot of messengers and a lot of messages around us. That's why you find different religions.
And it's trusting everything that was written down and passed on, and things.
Yeah, it's a bit different with Islam. I'll explain. I'll explain. But so because there was a lot of messengers, today you have a lot of people claiming that there's a lot of different religions. But you will always find this common thread, this commonality.
Yes.
This thing that is always in every religion. Don't kill, don't steal, be good, love for humanity, what you love for Islam, etc., etc. These things are.
Good moral code.
Do you know why are there?
They are.
They're there from our Muslim perspective because this happened. Basically, when God basically, I'll tell you why we use this word Allah. Because this word is unique. It means that God is not a male or a female, which is something very important to know. Very important to know. Why would he choose a son to be, not a daughter? Why would he be a father, not a mother? Why would there be discrimination against one race against the other? No. In Islam we say God is above gender. He's above all of these kind of things. It does not have to be specified linked to one gender. God is above that. God is not plural. God is just uniquely one being. The word Allah, you can only say it in the one true God. That's why we use this word. We say Allah. So when Allah sent messengers to different people, He intended only to send them to this locality, only to this people. For example, you have Moses who sent only to the Israelites. You have Abraham who sent to his people. Noah who sent to his people. So they were for their locality. What happened is after they died, people took their messages and then some people change, add to it, take from it. That's why you have today a bit of differences here and there, because people change in these kinds of different religions. But we say there will always be.
In it, and it's digging, and it's looking, and it's discussing,
yes,
and it's.
But we say there will always be a pure message. You know why? I'll tell you why there will always be a pure message.
Go on.
I'll highlight you. You believe in an intelligent God, right? That created everything, ascribed to everything a purpose. There has to be a purpose ascribed to this human race. An objective purpose. You can have a subjective purpose, obviously, but there has to be an objective purpose ascribed to all the human race. The only way you can know this purpose is by the person creating you telling you. Right? If I create a machine today, if I make a machine, let's say I'm a scientist, I design a machine right now. You will ask me, why did you create this machine? What's the purpose? I have to tell you, right? I have to tell you. So if we're created by a higher being, by a higher thing, the one who made your bag, ascribe purpose to it. If we're made, he has to ascribe purpose. And because he's an intelligent being, he will not leave us without purpose. He will not let us without guidance. He will not let us go astray. We as human beings, we need purpose. We require guidance. We require guidance. So we say there has to be a correct message somewhere. But you have to do some research.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'll give you an example. In Judaism, this is the similarities now. I'm giving you from the Abrahamic faith. The similarities between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, right? In Judaism and Christianity and Islam, there is circumcision, right? There is prayer, there is fasting, some sort. Now I'm not giving localities of the day. But if we take a deeper look into the scripture, a deeper look into what the prophets did themselves, right? So you have, for example, Moses, right? You know how Moses prayed?
How we pray.
In the Bible, now we're using the Bible as a criteria for...
Do you mean as a physical?
Physical prayer.
Physical prayer.
Because, you know,
he
that's
prayed
a very...
like this, didn't he?
No,
he
this is
didn't.
the whole point. Not like this, not like this.
Not like this?
So
Which way did he
Moses
pray
prayed
then?
specifically. This is I highlight the names for you now. Moses, Aaron, Abraham, David, Jesus, Joshua. These prophets, all these prophets in the mentioned in the Bible, they prayed in one unique way, which is they're falling on their face and praying to God. Do you know why? This is the most precious part for a human being. It's your face. When you humble yourself, you put this most precious thing on the floor when you're in front of God. This is the best way you can worship a higher being. You can worship a creator, the closest that you can be with him. So we as Muslims are the only people who pray like this today. There might be a minority of Christians doing it, but this is not the norm of the way you pray, right? So only Muslims pray this way. And when Prophet Muhammad taught us,
changed over the years, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
and when Prophet Muhammad taught us how to pray, told us how to pray, he showed us, he demonstrated to us by doing this. He told us this is how all the prophets pray. So we see here the link. There's something that is being preserved in all the messages, how to pray this specific way. Jesus had a beard, Prophet Muhammad has a beard, he told us to keep your beard. Moses, we believe, had a beard as well. So it's something consistent. Law of circumcision, prayer, not eating pork, for example.
Do you think, and how frowned upon would you think it would be if you didn't have your beard?
Sorry?
Is it how frowned upon and how would that be totally unholy to shave and to get rid of your beard? Is that something as well that you must have to go into the afterlife when you die?
Sure.
You should be. You
So
should have a beard.
in Islam there are two types of sins, right? Major sins and minor sins. A major sin is like you killing someone, committing adultery. So you could be
minor sin maybe
yes.
not having your beard or whatever.
You will see Muslims without beard, obviously, 100%.
Yeah, I do.
So
I do.
You will.
Yeah.
So it's something that you should do. It's something which is good if you do. But if you don't, you're making a sin, right? It's like someone who's stealing, who's maybe cursing, maybe lying. So all of these are sins. Yes, so many, 100%. That's why we require guidance.
And you're right. And I must say, Islam is a beautiful religion, and I see so much beauty in religions, and it's that code, it's those ethics that is the most important thing to have. And hopefully, as I say, if
It is. But can I ask you a question? You believe that I agree with what you're saying completely, but this is a point where I want to highlight. I believe it's a crucial point to highlight. If God did not leave us without guidance, for example, if He said all of these people are okay, maybe this person does, this will only create one thing: chaos. Number one, will create chaos. Number two, will create corruption in the land. Why? Because how can you ascertain what's right and wrong if God didn't tell you? You can never know what's right and what's wrong.
People are not following if not the same code, a similar code.
Objective morality, which has to come from a source other than yourself. To be objective, obviously, it has to come from a source other than yourself. So we believe without this objective message that has to be there has to be a message somewhere. There will be chaos, there will be no good and bad, everyone will do whatever they want. So that's why we accept harmonious living, but we say there has to be absolute truth. It's just logical there has to be absolute truth. God will not create us and then go. I'm not going to give you a message. It's not going to work this way. He has to give us some sort of guidance. So the Quran, the difference between it, and this is what I want to highlight, and all the other religious scriptures, that the Quran is preserved. There is no change in the Quran. There is no letter added, there is no word added, there is nothing taken from it. The Quran is 100% preserved. So you can know this is a pure message of God. You can know that you can follow this, wholeheartedly, not worried about anything. No man adding something. something, no one taking anything. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. So, in Islamic tradition, us preserving the Quran or preserving an old text can be through two ways, right? A written form and an oral form. Okay? So obviously we have, I think, in Yemen around a quarter of a million manuscripts with the Quran, right? And these manuscripts correlate with each other. They make one text that we have today. If this text was not true, you will find something strange in here, something missing there, right? Like you find, for example, in other religions like Christianity, in Judaism, like these other religions. Yes, 66 books, 70 tables. There's difference of opinion whether this is a scripture, all of the scripture. Did someone add something? We have evidence that someone did that. But we have a large number of manuscripts. But not only that. The most important point is that you have millions of people memorizing the Quran by heart. Every day reciting it. If you recite something every day, everywhere around the world, authenticating it, is it possible to add or take from it? Something being authenticated by everyone in the hearts of millions cannot be taken. You can never change anything. Even a letter, even a pronunciation of the word, you cannot change. 100%. So because we have all of these millions memorizing, we have the Quran that we have today. We authenticate it every year. The whole book we recite it from memory in Ramadan, the whole month. So it's 30 parts every day, one part. We authenticate it. So it's impossible for you to change it. Yes. 100%. You know why? Because we believe this is crucial for our afterlife. This life is just a door, a step of a door, a step of a door that you go to. So you have to know where you're going. So because we believe that this is our religion, but not only that, because the Quran itself, God intended to preserve the message. You know why? I gave you the message of all the different prophets that came throughout time, right? Prophet Muhammad, he's like them, all of them. The only difference is that he came with a universal message for everyone, for you, for me, for him, for everyone around the world. So God had to preserve the message for everyone because it was not for a certain locality. You understand? So the Quran says we have sent down in chapter 15, we have sent down the revelation and we are going to preserve the revelation. And this is the way. But I want you to highlight this. The Quran says a very interesting verse, which I believe it's a miracle on itself. And let's see if you agree with this. So the Quran says, we have made the Quran easy for memorization, right? So this is a claim, right? I can write something now and say this is easy for memorization. I'm just making a claim, right? So what is the possibility of someone from England, someone from China, someone from India memorizing a text, which is a 114 chapter, 6,000 verses, right? In a language that they don't speak. Reciting, all of them reciting the same thing exactly. Reciting it better than the people of their own language. Is it possible? Today you have millions doing it. Millions in Pakistan memorizing. Millions in India memorizing. Millions in Indonesia memorizing. Millions in Indonesia memorizing. And they all, if you bring one from Malaysia, one from Indonesia, one from Egypt, and we will recite the same thing. This shows the miracle of God, that this has to be from God. It's not just a statement made. Yes.